You ever wonder how some people can just let an insult or, a tough rejection just roll right off their back? It's not because they're robots or they don't have feelings. Nope. It's because they think differently. So today, we're going to break down the 7 habits that build a truly emotionally resilient mind.
So, here's our roadmap. We're going to start with the core mindset of resilience itself. Then we'll dive into mastering our inner world, our thoughts. After that, we'll turn outward and redefine our relationship with the world around us. And we'll wrap it all up by learning how to interact from a place of real strength and discover the one true principle that ties all of this together.
All right, let's kick things off with the absolute core idea here. Emotional resilience is not about building some kind of wall so you never feel pain again. It's about fundamentally changing how you process that pain when it shows up.
Look, painful stuff happens. It's just part of the deal of being human, right? Nobody gets a free pass. But the resilient mind gets one crucial thing. The initial sting, that first hurt, that's unavoidable. But letting that pain set up shop and define your future, well, that's an active choice you actually get to control.
Okay, so that brings us to our first group of habits, and these are all about mastering your inner world. You got to get the inside right before you can really deal with the outside. This is where the foundation is built.
The very first habit is all about that little narrator inside our heads. You know the one. Emotionally resilient people, they actively manage that voice. They don't just let negative thoughts spiral and run the show. Instead, they treat that inner voice like a tool they can direct, not some tyrant they have to obey.
So what does that actually look like? Well, it means you stop attacking yourself and you start correcting yourself. So instead of, "Ugh, I'm so stupid," a resilient person's thought is more like, "Okay, that was a mistake. What can I learn from it?" It's all about becoming your own biggest cheerleader, not your own worst critic.
Okay, this next internal habit is about what I'd call emotional efficiency. Resilient people, they feel it all: sadness, anger, disappointment, but they don't set up camp and live there. They refuse to just keep replaying hurtful moments on a loop because they know that their mental energy is a precious, finite resource.
And let's be super clear about this. Letting go isn't a sign of weakness. It's not giving up. It's actually a sign of intelligence. It's an active, smart decision to stop pulling your energy into a past that you absolutely cannot change. And honestly, this skill fuels all the others. It's way easier not to take things personally when you've already let go of needing everyone's approval.
All right, so we've done some work on the inside. Now, let's shift our focus to the outside. Let's talk about how resilient people manage the relationship with the world, and specifically with what other people say and do.
This one is a total game changer. Resilient people understand that what other people say is almost always a reflection of them, not you. So they create this kind of mental buffer, separating what someone says from their own internal sense of who they are.
And here is that mental pivot in action. When someone is negative, our first gut reaction is usually, "What's wrong with me?" But the resilient mind flips the script and asks a much more powerful question. What's going on inside them that's making them act this way? That one simple shift can just completely diffuse a personal attack.
This next habit is all about where you get your sense of approval. Resilient people aren't constantly scrolling for likes or fishing for compliments to feel good about themselves. For them, self-worth is an inside job.
I mean, think about it for a second. If you are the one who decides your own value, if you set your own standards, then someone else's opinion, whether it's good or bad, it just becomes data, information. It no longer has the power to build you up, or more importantly, to tear you down.
Oh man, there is so much freedom in this next habit. The need to be understood and liked by every single person is exhausting, and let's be real, it's impossible. Resilient people just accept it. They know not everyone's going to get them, or approve of them, or even like them, and that is perfectly okay.
This acceptance, it's really the core of what psychologists call emotional independence. It's that strength you feel when you don't need everyone to sign off on you to feel secure in who you are. And that, right there, is a true foundation of emotional strength.
So, we've worked on our inner world and we've redefined our relationship with the outer world. This last section is all about how resilient people actively engage with others in a way that protects their own peace of mind. Let's be clear, resilient people are not doormats. They are architects of their own peace, and they build fences to protect it. Now, why is this so hard for so many of us? Well, usually it's a fear of conflict or we're just people pleasers. But resilient people get that boundaries aren't about being difficult, they're about being clear. And you know, setting a boundary doesn't have to be some big, loud, dramatic showdown. A lot of the time, it's a quiet, firm decision. It's choosing not to put up with repeated disrespect. It's refusing to get dragged into arguments that go nowhere. And sometimes, the most powerful boundary you can set is to just quietly step back and disengage. See, this isn't about winning an argument or proving you're right. A boundary is not an act of ego. Its only job is to protect your inner peace and your emotional energy. It's basically a profound act of self-respect.
This last habit is such a powerful sign of emotional maturity, and it flows right from setting good boundaries. Resilient people get that not every battle is worth fighting. They have let go of that burning need to have the last word or to win every single argument.
For a lot of people, the goal of a disagreement is victory, to be proven right. But for someone who's emotionally resilient, the goal is peace. They weigh the cost of the fight against the value of their own calm, and 9 out of 10, they choose calm. And that, my friends, is real power.
So we've walked through 7 different habits. But when you look at them all together, they all point to one single, incredibly powerful truth about what it really means to be strong.
Real resilience isn't built by trying to dodge every hard thing in life. It's forged by facing that difficulty, by learning from it, and by understanding it without letting it swallow you whole. Every single one of these habits is a tool for understanding, not for avoidance.
You know, all these habits are like muscles. You can build them over time with practice. So the real question to ask yourself is, which one of these feels like the most powerful place for you to start? Because protecting your peace, it's a practice, and it's one your mind absolutely deserves.